raised it as an option because someone said there was no contest. So I said, well, what about Beal and Westbrook?
That's incredible.
Don't
CJ combining for 68 points, 23 assists, and a win over the Kings. Richard, I'll ask you the simple question. Do the Blazers have the best backcourt in the league?
Yes. Christian James and Dame Dollar are the best backcourt in this league currently. They're
Robert?
But don't hide.
You know, I'm not going to say they're the best. I'm not going to say that. I love Dame. I love him to death. But think about it. Bradley Beal's putting on a show. Westbrook is an MVP, triple-double. So there's an argument for a lot of other duos out there.
But my thing is this: don't hide behind you. If I was that guy, he was like, today, I didn't. It's like, no, look. At the end of the day, just
scared, man.
Say this. Say this.
What you gonna say?
Look, do you have an MVP? Have you played in the finals? Because that duo has an individual that's done both.
Well, yes. I would say, though, that Westbrook has not found his footing quite yet with the Wizards right now, and I would certainly give it to Dame and CJ, or as you have taken to calling him,
Christian James.
There we go. Welcome to The Jump. I am Rachel Nichols alongside a couple of NBA champions, Richard Jefferson, Robert Horry. I would like to brag that between the three of us, we have 8 rings. That's the right way to say it, Richard.
That is right. I like to say
I don't think we need to say anything more. Who has 7 on this
We're
panel?
team, baby.
Might
We're
be,
team.
Yeah, there we go.
Yes.
So kind. Coming up, how good are the Rockets now after acquiring Victor Oladipo in that massive 4-team blockbuster trade? We will discuss the Houston side of things in a moment, but you know where we're going first. Yeah, Brooklyn. It says something about a trade if we can simultaneously have been talking about it possibly happening for months and have it knock everyone over when it comes through. Durant, Harden, Kyrie, all on one team. It's a dazzling collection of basketball talent. Durant on his way to proving he's right back up there with LeBron as the best player in the NBA. Harden, one of the game's greatest ever scorers, who's finished top 5 in MVP voting 6 of the past 7 years. Kyrie is the league's best ball handler who can flat out perform magic around the hoop. They are 3 of the most outrageously talented players in the league. But they're also, of course, 3 of the NBA's most distinct personalities, making all of this potentially explosive in about 100 different directions, both good and bad. So what does happen when 3 crazy kids moved into one of those Brooklyn lofts together to try to take on the world? I'm glad you asked. Yes, in honor of this mega trade, The Jump presents our latest show within a show. Three's Company, Brooklyn edition. And just like with Jack, Janet, and Chrissy,
Jack
you can
Roper.
expect plenty of hijinks
Why you got Kyrie's face looking like that?
as we see
Everybody
how
else
this
smiling.
group meshes.
Why did they put him in Chrissy's spot, though?
Now, executive producer, Nets general manager, Sean Marks, is optimistic. Here he was this morning talking about the screaming neon elephant in the room, team chemistry.
Look, I think whenever you're meshing personalities, I think we've got to wait and see how this all fits on the floor and so forth. I think these guys have given us the right answers. They've said, hey, they want to play together. They can see this fitting. And I think they're at a time in their careers, they understand that there's without a doubt going to be some nights where 1 or 2 need to sacrifice for the other and so forth. But I think they're all looking for that common goal.
Marks added that Harden and Durant already knowing and liking each other should help speed the team building process here. Perhaps, although as he was speaking, it was hard to not think about how that same scenario went so wrong between Harden and Russell Westbrook that Russ asked out after just 1 season. As for the Kyrie angle, Marks denied that Kyrie's current situation spurred the Nets to finally pull the trigger on this trade, insisting it was not a hedge to give Durant a more reliable co-star. He also noted Kyrie is, quote, very excited to return to the team after his mysterious absence. But honestly, none of that addresses what is going to be the real issue going forward. Is Kyrie going to be okay with essentially being the 3rd option in Brooklyn behind 2 former MVPs? We know part of why Kyrie asked out of Cleveland was because he didn't want to continue shaping either his game or his standing on the team around LeBron anymore. We know there were issues coexisting with teammates in Boston. We know that in other recent big threes, guys like Kevin Love, Chris Bosh have had some trouble adjusting to that 3rd role. And these 2 guys, well, they're at least notoriously mellow. At least Kyrie plays a different position. He will have the ball in his hands more. Maybe Ray Allen and Boston is a better comparison. Although clearly it is something to watch, as is how this Nets team looks on the defensive end. With Jarrett Allen out the door, the Nets no longer have anyone who you would call a defensive standout. In fact, 5 of the Nets' key rotation players had a negative defensive real plus-minus last season. That's a lot. Still, all Brooklyn really needs is a functional level of team defense, something KD and Kyrie, and yes, at times, yes, even James, have shown to be capable of. So if they want to play hard on that end, they can. Also, let's be honest, there's going to be plenty of nights, at least in the regular season, they won't have to. In a year where there is no plan to hold an actual all-star game, Brooklyn should have plenty of that vibe nightly. At their best, we could see a 3-ring circus of death-defying feats of basketball brilliance. Will it be enough to threaten the defending champion Lakers at the very top of the NBA pyramid? We'll have to see. Will it be enough to cause an arms race in the East with the Bucks, Sixers, Heat, or Celtics now trying to pull off their own big trades? We will see. Will it be
and playing well? The difference between this 3 and let's say the big 3 that Golden State had with Kevin Durant, those guys were all ball movers and shooters, right? Klay Thompson was moving off screens. Klay was moving off screen. The 3 of these guys are all ball handlers.
I'm still looking at this team like, who's going to take over? Because when you look at James Harden, he gets his rhythm by playing with the rock. KD playing with the rock. Kyrie playing with the rock. So that is going to be trouble because they're not shooters like Steph and Klay who can come out and shoot the ball. So this big 3 is a little bit worrisome for me because they all playing with the rock. And now, who's going to play defense? Who's going to come off the bench? They gave away a lot to get this guy. And now they have nothing because at the end of the day, you need what people like to call the others, the bench, to step up. They have no bench. They have nobody to step up. So I'm looking at the 3 J's, Jeff, Jordan, and other guy, the shooter, to come off.
Joe Harris.
Joe Harris, to shoot the ball and play. They gotta step up. And we know Jordan is old. We don't know how he's gonna step up. So, I know how it is when you get up in age and still trying to compete.
Yeah, we both do. But the crazy thing is, too, is when you look at it, obviously there's questions about Kyrie, what his situation is. And then James Harden is obviously not in the championship shape that he has been the last few years. And when
that gets fixed over the course of the season.
But this is my thing. Like, look at this picture here. This was James Harden going into the bubble. People were talking about how amazing shape he was. Now he overjumped this shape and went to the next position. So he went from super skinny to and
he did now.
Yeah, and he did this in about a 3-month span. So that some of that is probably unhappy and he's not wanting to be there. And we're just not going to allude to other things. But to win a championship, and we're talking about winning championships, you got to be.
Body shaming on this show, Richard.
It's not body shape. I'm saying he's unhappy.
He's unhappy. I think
come on.
Fine. You look at his body and you look at.
Same thing with Jokic last year. Jokic wasn't in great shape. He got in great shape. They went to a conference final.
Okay, so you guys have both been in versions of this kind of situation. You played on a team, right, with Vince Carter, with Jay Kidd. Robert, I can name several teams that you played in, several locker rooms with big personalities, big, huge stars. How does it sort itself out? How does that work over the course of a season?
You have to have someone that's not one of the big 3 who's willing to step up and say, hey, guys, it ain't about you 3. It's about us as a team. I want to win a championship just as bad as you guys. Just because you're making the most money, you're getting the most notoriety, I'm still on this team. I'm looking at Jeff Green to be that guy. He's a voice of reason. People forget he's played with KD before when KD first came into the league. So he might have his ear. So he can talk to these guys and say, hey, listen, it ain't about you. Let's work this thing out and play together as a team and win a championship because that is the goal, to cement our name in history.
Yeah. And the last thing I'll say is this. Look, now KD's won some championships, right? Kyrie's won a championship. James Harden is the one that hasn't, right? So I know that these guys are motivated, but there is a different type of motivation when you're searching for something that you haven't found yet, right? And it's like, look, they've won all the awards. Kyrie's won the Rookie of the Year. He's won all the other stuff. He's probably not going to win an MVP with this team, but I'm just saying it's like, what are they fighting for? And so when you're trying to fight for something you haven't gotten, there's easier to make sacrifices a la the Big 3, a la the Miami Big 3. They're fighting for something that they haven't gotten yet. So that's one thing about this Brooklyn team. Are they full already, right?
Right. I mean, it's like you, when you were with the Nets, you stepped up and said, look, I know I'm far and away so much better than you, Jason Kidd or Vince Carter, but I'm willing to
this is the best thing that ever happened to me playing on those teams is on most nights, I got the third best defender on most nights. I got the third best